world, I trace the migrations of all the tribes into Europe and give their ultimate settling point. Obviously, they settle at various places throughout Europe, okay? The Swedes, the Vikings, the British, the Irish, the Germans, the Spanish, the French, the Polish. These are all descended from the 12 tribes of Israel, okay?
Now, how could one, in asking the question, we must be looking at some documents or maybe some signs or fingerprints of how to identify them. Are you going to be able to help us figure out how
yes.
you got? Yeah, okay, go ahead then.
Right. I have a document here called The Marks of Israel, which I'll go into very quickly. I'm turning my Bible to Isaiah chapter 11, verse 16, which is the verse which prophesies the migration of these 12 tribes, because the 2 tribes of the house of Judah were taken captive by the Assyrians later, around 701 BC, by Sennacherib, king of Assyria.
So the northern part left, the southern part was still there and got taken by the Syrians?
In both cases, it's the Assyrians, Assyrian, the Assyrians. Okay.
Now, I get, is the like I'm a doctor. Means absent. Does that mean absent of something?
Some people say that. No, I think it's just a distinction between the Syrians and the Assyrians. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I don't think the AS has a negative connotation, as minus. Okay, but minus versus plus.
I was thinking maybe they were minus colored eyes or something like that.
No, although the Syrians and the Armenians of those days were considered to be the whitest of the white. They had the whitest skin, the bluest eyes. Yes, yeah. Like I said in Genesis chapter 10, all of these nations that descended from Noah and his 8 family members, they were all white people. There's simply no doubt about this. All of the archaeology and the history proves it. Okay,
but just some of them got mixed up with these bad guys. So,
right.
Okay, go ahead then.
Right.
Go ahead.
Yes. Okay. Now, there's actually a prophecy in the Bible that predicts the migration of these 12 tribes of Israel across the Caucasus Mountains, okay, and it's 11:16, Isaiah 11:16, and there shall be an highway for the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, like as it was to Israel in the day that he came up out of the land of Egypt. So it's saying that there will be a repeat, a new exodus from Assyria of the Israelite people, okay,
like they did when they left Egypt.
Exactly. Okay. But this is in 745 BC, almost exactly 750 years after. Well, they started their captivity around 1500 BC, and the Exodus, it depends on which scholars you consult. Okay, typically around 1400 BC for the Exodus. Okay. Some have pinpointed it to the year 1453 BC. Okay, so about 700 years after that, the Assyrians took the northern 10 tribes captive, and then 45 years after that, they took a great number of the Judahites and Benjaminites captive, added them to the 10 tribes, now that we have all 12 tribes, and this is testified to by James, chapter 1, verse 1, in which he addresses his epistle to these 12 tribes, to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, greetings. Okay?
Oh, wow.
So he knows that the 12 tribes...
scattered abroad wouldn't be sitting there in the Mediterranean, I take it.
That's correct. Not Palestine. It's definitely not Palestine. Josephus attests to this as well. He says that the 10 tribes that are scattered abroad beyond the Euphrates are an immense multitude, not to be estimated by number, but the 2 tribes still here because Judah and Benjamin were taken captive separately in 586 BC to Babylon, and then returned to the land of Judah 70 years after that. So they maintained their residency in Palestine up until, of course, the days of Jesus Christ. Okay? But the 10 tribes plus great numbers of Judah and Benjamin that were added to them constituted 12 tribes, and these 12 tribes migrated across the Caucasus Mountains into Europe, okay, and then began migrating across Europe primarily along the Danube River, okay?
Oh, okay.
And in the Caucasus Mountains, what's today called the Dariel Pass, is still called by the locals the Pass of Israel. And you find all kinds of burial mounds along this migration route, especially in the Crimea, which is like a peninsula that sticks out into the Black Sea. The Israelite burial mounds that contain all kinds of Israelite artifacts, such as the battle axe, such as stone circumcision knives, okay, and various types of Israelite Hebrew inscriptions that go along with this migration. Of course, now this is 745 BC. Okay.
Now how many, give us an idea, how many would have gone through this pass then?
It would be millions. It would be literally, at least, I would say, 2 to 4 million, possibly as many as 6 million. Okay.
Wow.
And the Bible says that actually it's the book of Second Esdras, which is in the Apocrypha, that it took them a year and a half for all the Israelites to cross from Armenia to the other side of the Caucasus Mountains. Okay. Now it's an interesting fact that all of your history books, I don't know about European history books, but here in America, our history books talk about the Caucasian people originating somewhere north of the Caucasian Mountains, right? But none of these history books have anything to say about where these Caucasian people came from. Who are these people? Where'd they come from? They couldn't have just materialized out of thin air and appeared as white people, right?
Right.
Well, of course, and they pinpoint the year. They say, well, archaeologists tell us that they emerged around, 700 BC. 600 BC is when these people started emerging, appearing north of the Caucasus Mountains. Well, that's exactly the time that the Israelites migrated from Armenia across the Caucasus Mountains into Europe. So why has nobody bothered to trace these Israelites, these Caucasian people, at least one step further back in history? Okay. Well, it's because the Jews don't want us to know who we are. Since they're pretending to be Israel, they have spent millions, if not billions and trillions, to alter history, to, number one, erase the memory of the Khazar people, who they are primarily, and to erase the memory of these migrations starting in 745 BC, so that the true migration the true dispersion, the true diaspora of Israel began in 745 BC, and the Jews have absolutely nothing to do with that.
Well, this brings up a lot of questions, Eli. We've got one here that I think might be a little more appropriate for later. It has to do with, Prince Charles publicly stated he was a direct descendant of Noah, and so, could this be, was the question. And I'll have you answer. But I don't know if that fits this or not. But one of the questions I had also was then, so who are the Khazars then?
The Khazars are a combination of 3 genotypes. They are a combination of Japheth, who was the brother of Shem and Ham. Okay. The Japhethites migrated north into the steppes of southern Russia very early on, almost the days of Nimrod. Okay.
So way before the leaving, the migration.
Right, way before. Most of the historians and archaeologists refer to these Japhethites as Scythians, but that is not correct. They are not Scythians. The Scythian migration, the Scythians are actually the Israelites we've been talking about by a different name. The word Scythian derives from the word Sukkoth, which means tents or shelter. Okay, as a direct reference.
Go ahead.
Yes, yeah, it's actually a direct reference to the Feast of Tabernacles.
So that doesn't have anything to do with suck off, meaning Saxon?
No.
Okay.
There's a connection. I'll get to the connection there. That's actually in Isaac shall thy seed be called, Genesis 21:12, which is one of the marks of Israel that we'll be discussing. Okay.
That's go ahead. I don't want to get you off track. Go ahead.
No. But yeah, I see the question, and I answered Reuben apparently. That Prince Charles has stated that he is a direct descendant of Noah. Okay, well, that is in fact true. the first mark that we're